Welcome back to the Sober and Wellness Podcast. I am your host, Abigail Padro, and now I am thrilled to welcome our guest, Nirvana, to the show to share her incredible alcohol-free journey. Welcome, Nirvana. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Thank you for being part of the podcast and helping others transition to an alcohol-free life. Let's start with the first question, shall we?
Yes.
Can you take us back to what life looked like before you decided to embrace an alcohol-free lifestyle? What were some of the key factors or moments that led you to consider making this change?
Yeah. Drinking has been a normal part of my life for many, many years, like even into my teens. It just was very habitual, but I didn't know how habitual it was until I went on this journey. So it was a daily thing. I used to drink every day. Partially it was like, drink with dinner, but that drink would go into the night. I have 4 kids, so it became part of like the norm, mommy juice culture. I fell for that trick. So it was just, it's been part of my life for a very long time. So the first time I drank, I was maybe 12. It wasn't like in the numbers that it was before I decided to quit, but it was just like very regular, whether at parties or just like, from high school into college. And then as I became a mom and an adult, it just became like an everyday thing.
Okay. Wow. And now I know there's a big milestone coming up your way. You're about to be 2 full years alcohol free. How does that feel?
That's great. It is the best choice I've ever made in my life. Like I really do see this as my biggest accomplishment. And I feel better than I have in so many years. I did not expect that. I did not expect the physical part to be so good and mental.
And making the shift to an alcohol-free lifestyle, as we know, often it comes with its own set of challenges. What were some of the biggest struggles you faced in your early days? Because now I imagine you're more into an autopilot situation. What will be those that you first, faced in the early days, and what helped you to navigate those initial hurdles?
Yeah, I needed to learn emotional regulation and stress management and using other tools instead of just blindly reaching for a drink. So that was a little bit challenging just because I didn't realize that I didn't have those tools. Like it wasn't as big of a problem. Well, I didn't realize the problem. So I relied a lot, and I still really love a non-alcoholic drink. So the cravings in the beginning, I loaded myself with like non-alcoholic beers and things like that. And anytime, like say cooking, it was a very regular part of my cooking routine. So I just always had the non-alcoholic drinks around me. Even like brunches and things like that, that was so normal to have champagne. Like I have mocktails all the time. Like, and I still do. I still really enjoy them. So, and between that, and then also like I already had a meditation practice, but I had to use it more and depend on that and like breathing techniques to get me through stressful situations. But as I drank less, also my anxiety reduced a lot. So where before I was having panic attacks like almost once a week, if not more, they started just trailing away. Like even the things that I needed the emotional regulation for started like it comes up less. I don't feel as stressed or anxious as I did before.
And it's interesting what you're saying about like anxiety, because it's like this vicious cycle, right? I hear a lot of people still like they will say, well, alcohol helps me with anxiety. But I'm like, it's a double-edged sword, because then, yeah, it helps you at the moment, right? It takes the edge off. But then the next day, everything gets worse. Whatever anxiety you had before, if you add the alcohol and then you add a hangover anxiety, I mean, it's like 10 times worse.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how long did it take you? Like you said that you were having panic attacks, right? Or, that level of anxiety. How long did it take for you to start seeing, my baseline is coming down. I am feeling better.
Probably within like 3 months, I was already feeling a little bit better, but then 6 months, like even better. And I was also getting off of ADD medications. So my journey was like a combination of alcohol and ADHD medicine, which I was abusing both but I didn't really see it. I didn't see it as abuse. Now I'm realizing like how I was abusing my body. But so within 3 to 6 months, it was like a lot better. And I think I had been off of everything already. Like, I mean, alcohol, yes, but like I might have still tried to take the ADD medicine and then quit that. So I also had chronic neck pain, which was like I had doctors tell me that I needed to go to pain management. They're like, well, you're going to have this forever because this is the way that your neck is, and your discs are on top of each other, and so your only option is to go like the pain management route, which I didn't want to do because I didn't want to be on. I didn't like painkillers. I've never liked like painkillers and stuff. So that my neck pain has completely gone away in the last year. So like by the time I got to a year, I was like, oh my God, I don't even have this neck pain anymore. It's insane. Like I didn't even expect that either. And so
Wow.
the first year was just like a huge physical change for me.
I think also the fact that your body doesn't have that poison, that chemical in your body that gets your whole body inflamed. Inflammation is the number one cause of a lot of our diseases. And if you're having pains or people that have joint pains, I've heard that, yeah, one of the things is that they start feeling better. Now, the thing is that you have to pass that first threshold of pushing through, right? The cravings, the fact that you're basically becoming a new person. That's how I feel in my journey. That when you leave alcohol behind, now you have to, okay, not what we do. It's like going back to being a child and going back to, okay, so what do I like? What do I want to do? Because a lot of us are so used to this liquid for a lot of things, for coping with stress, for having fun. Do you had any issues like with that? Were you bored? Were you like, or were you just fine from the beginning?
No, interesting. I've always used alcohol as just something to do. So it was like, and I'm an artist, so I always used alcohol. I didn't realize I was using it to be creative, but it always went side by side. So the one challenge for me was like, how do I be creative without using some kind of substance? And that's still a challenge for me, but I really, now I'm so much happier to like when I start creating, it's just coming from my pure self. Like I'm no longer dependent on whatever I create. Whatever I create is like tainted by it coming from some substance that I took, whether it was alcohol or my ADHD medicine. So, but that was kind of a challenge. Like, and in social situations, I'm so observant and so I never felt that I was bored, but I felt like watching everybody and watching them all line up at the bar or just it really just it was actually it just proved to me how little I want that. Like I don't want to be that person who's waiting at a bar for 35 minutes when you're out enjoying a night. It takes so much time away from the evening. So it's just sort of like observing that and now I realize I'm still fun. I tried karaoke sober, but like I was able to do that. Like, oh, I no longer need that courage. I thought it was courage. It's just such a trick. That's what I realized. It was such a trick to think that I even needed that. And that's habitual. And I think, and now that I learned more about the marketing and the marketing behind alcohol companies, like they purposely made me think that I needed that social lubricant.
Yes.
Like that didn't come from me feeling weak. Like I have been a confident person and it's like my drinking didn't come from this week, like I need this to be out. It was just became the habit of drinking when I went out. And then, yes, maybe being more like eccentric or, like being more loud or whatever, brave. But I didn't need that. And now I find like I'm actually so much better and I'm very social. I could talk to anybody. Like I really like talking to people. I didn't need it. People who might think that they need that social lubricant, like the more you get to know yourself, the more you realize that it's not helping anything. That's what I realized.
You said something huge, the marketing behind it. With the mommy wine culture, actually, that's what happened. There was, I don't remember where I got that information, but I don't know if it was one of the books that I read, Quitlets, but it said that this marketing realized the connection by being a mom and the witching hour and the stress. And they did this whole thing as, okay, let's have a glass of wine to relax from a tough day, from having the kids. And usually it's when you bring them back from school and then they have their moment and then like, okay, now it's my me time. It became this thing like wine and you, it's one. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Yeah, the mommy juice. Like my kids were calling my drinks mommy juice, which was it's so and it used to bother me, but it was now I realize like that term came out. Like that was just right. It was my um stress relief, which is counterintuitive to what it actually takes our bodies to relieve stress because it causes more stress and anxiety. But yes, I was just looking up some of the facts because in Quit Like a Woman, one of the books that really just changed my life when I think I still was on cutback when I was listening to the audiobook, but Holly Whitaker, she listed some facts. It was 84%. There was an increase of 84% in women drinking between 2002 and 2013. And it's crazy because like I had my first son in 2003. And when our mom group used to get together for play dates once a week, it was always part of hanging out. It was like, and daytime drinking or like just that's sort of it became more normal to drink during daytime even in brunches and oh now the baby shower has like champagne and the bridal shower is champagne and like you realize that every single event to get together now included alcohol as like you have to have it to have fun. But yeah, it was definitely and she was mentioning like the kids that say they were making onesies for babies that said like my mommy drinks because I cry, stuff like that.
Oh Lord.
Like come on, like babies are meant
Yeah.
to cry and we're meant to handle that.
Mhm.
And it's crazy. I definitely used to think like homework time. I would always I started later on in my drinking career or whatever in my to always have a drink with homework time because I thought it was stressful. Like getting a kid to do homework sometimes can be stressful, at least it was in my household. And then one day,
Yes.
yeah, so it was just very normal. And one day, something that also just like was an aha moment for me was my daughter said, she's like, Mom, it's never water. Like your cup it's never water. Cause she would be like, can I drink from my cup? And I was always having to say no. And so when she said that, like, Mom, it's never water, that was just like a huge, like,
Hmm.
she's absolutely right. And not only that, she's like how observant they are. I think she was like 9 or 8 or 9. And that was the beginning of me switching from just cutting back and looking at my drinking and how much I was drinking to like, why am I even doing this?
Hmm.
And I think that was one of the first times that, and then one time that I got really, really sick, that I decided to go alcohol free instead of just counting my drinks and reducing. I'm grateful for that time though.
Yeah, I like that now when my kids ask me for a drink all the time, I can always say yes. And it's actually a good feeling. Because I have three kids, but one of them it's already 19 years old, and the other one's my baby girl. It's 7, and then my son just turned 6 on April. And the fact that I no longer have to say, no, you don't have this is an adult drink. I would use that term. This is an adult drink. I used to use it with my son. And it feels good. It feels good that you're always drinking. Why is it okay for us to drink it, but for kids, it's obviously they're kids, but reality, it's because you like it's not good for their bodies. And it's the same thing for us. It's not good for our bodies because we are older. that, you know what I mean? It's just it is funny like that. But I wanted to ask you. You said that you got sick. When did you realize, okay, Nirvana, here I am? Like, do you ever struggle with the question, do I have a problem with alcohol, or you just wanted to just get better? Like, what is the thought behind that?
Okay, so there was one time when I was 21 that I was living in Aspen, and Aspen is a huge party town. I mean, I had already drank a lot in Miami, and I grew up in Miami, so it's already like I've been exposed to all the partying from very young. But in
Mm-hmm.
Aspen, there was one time where I did decide to go to an AA meeting. And it was my first time. I was just like, maybe this is a problem. I don't know. Let me just check out this meeting. And I'll never forget because there was an old man there who like looked at me after I shared saying, I think that I'm drinking too much. And he's like, oh no, you're just young. You're not an alcoholic. Like you don't belong here. And I ran with that. I was like, oh yeah, he's right. And why was I even there? And so I went right back to drinking. It was like the only time where I had a thought, but I really should have followed my intuition, or I wish I did follow my intuition. Like maybe something was telling
Mm-hmm.
me, but I ignored it. And then literally like 20 something years later now, 2 years ago, I was out to lunch with a friend of mine who we went to lunch, and it was very normal to drink wine at lunch or a drink at lunch. So he said, No, actually, I'm only drinking once a week because I'm using this app called Reframe that is teaching me about alcohol. And so I created a goal to only drink once a week. I'm like, oh, okay, it's cool. I ordered my drink anyways, and I just put it in the back of my mind. And then later that day, I looked up the app Reframe, and it said, you take 10 minutes a day and it'll give you some like educational stuff about the science behind alcohol. And so I started entering, it asks you to enter how much you're drinking. And I entered in the drinks, and it was a little bit like, I didn't realize how much I was drinking, and I didn't see it. I was what they call now, I've learned, the gray area drinker. Like nobody would ever see me drunk. I rarely had hangovers. I wasn't slurring. People like, even on the days where I realized, oh wow, I drank a lot, people like, no, you were totally normal. You were talking like normal. So it never seemed like a problem for me. So after that one time in Colorado, like I didn't think about it again until this Reframe app, when it asked me to enter the drinks and I started counting like the glasses of wine. I think when I entered, I calculated about 3 glasses of wine a day, because at night after the kids went to sleep or whatever, or when I was cooking, I would start with one and then I would have like one more and maybe one more in the night. So I put in like 20 drinks, something like that. And that's the first time when I saw the number, I'm like, that's actually a lot. And so I created the goal to cut it in half. And and then I realized I thought it would be easy. And then once I started counting and just like how quickly you can consume, like just going out one night or going to one like pool day at the pool here, or it's like 5 drinks is easy. If you get there at 11 o'clock at night, by 7 o'clock, like 5 drinks is nothing. It seemed like nothing. Yeah. So once I started entering all that into the app, I did that for like 85 days. The cutback track is what it's called, because you can either be on the, it could be on the either alcohol free or cutback. I was on cutback because it never occurred to me to quit drinking ever. I started having a little bit of trouble, like, oh, I'm not even able to keep a goal of drinking 12 drinks a week. Isn't that crazy? Like it suddenly became like, now I'm looking at it. And then I had a night where I went out I had a goal of like 2 drinks that one night, and I went on a trip with my daughter, and just staying home at my friend's house, like she just was pouring wine. I didn't keep my goal, and I got really sick and I was throwing up. And that was like my lesson. I was just like, this is not, if I can't keep a goal of 12 drinks a week, like now this is not healthy. So it's not healthy. So it was right before July, and there was a dry July challenge for 30 days. And I was like, let me just try this 30-day challenge. Like still not thinking I was going to quit. I was just like, I'm probably because it rhymed. Like I like the sound of dry July. So I was going to Colorado again for the summer. I'm like, let me just see if I could do a month. And at the end of the month, I felt so good that I'm like, why would I even start again? Like I'm actually feeling really good. And then that I took those 30 days, but I still drank again because my 2 years is May. Oh no, wait, May, June, July. Actually, I don't know. Now I have to go back in my dates, but there was a shift between like the cut back to the alcohol free, which included that one time where I got really sick, and my daughter saying, Mom, your cup is never water.
Yeah, that will hit home for me too. Like, and I was listening to a podcast, and I think it was Huberman, or I'm not sure who it was. I'm going to have to start writing these people down because I want to have the facts right. But they were saying, okay, for the people, because, when you tell people that you're not drinking, I don't know if this happened to you, they look at you like if you're a unicorn, right? Like, why? Do you have a problem? Or are you an alcoholic? And they want to label you and your life is a wreck. And that was not my story. I know that's not your story either. But in reality, he said, if you drink more than 2 drinks per week, you already consider a heavy drinker. I was like, what? 2 drinks for me, it was like, that's just I'm beginning to, get the party started with 2 drinks. Like, I'm also a gray area. I was, right? But if I go back, the thing is that I know for a fact, like, I don't lie to myself, right? I know that if I go back to drinking, I'm never going to be the person that wants to drink, because in reality, what I look for is the buzz, right? Is that relaxation, not to get wasted, right? Because I don't think that's fun when you feel sick or you have no control of your body. But that right before that, and that's the problem. Like 95% of the time, I was able to handle it. I was able to stay good. I didn't slur. I didn't fall. I didn't, none of that stuff, right? Dramatic situations that people get when they're drunk. But there was also that 5% throughout my drinking career, we can call that, that lasted what, 2 decades of my life, that all those things will happen. The next day I will feeling sick. So I think at the end of the day, that's a good measurement. If two drinks, if you can have 2 drinks in the week, then you're fine. You know, if you need to put something in your body because you really love the taste, and let me tell you, if that's the case, there's options now. You can have an NA wine. One that I love that I've only tried 2 so far because I started working with NA wines after my year. I did NA beers prior to that, but there's one that's called Audibird. I don't know if you had it. It's really good. It's the closest thing that I've had because the other one that I bought in Publix here, which is a supermarket in Florida, it was like drinking like there had nothing of like the wine flavor, but that one Audibert, and it's just $24 in Amazon. So if you guys are looking for something like that that tastes, I'm talking about pretty close. Like I would say 85 to 90%. It's not like drinking a grape juice. They really did a great job of keeping that little bit of bitterness, even though it doesn't have alcohol. What do you use for stuff like that? Like NAs now.
So I've always liked craft beers. So and I also liked wine. I mean, towards the end, I was drinking white wine a lot. Now, like the last time I maybe took a sip of white wine, I lost the taste for it. I don't even want anything that tastes like it. I'm like, how did I even want this? And same with red wine. I just lost the taste for it. So I like craft beer. So Athletic Brewing makes a lot of really great craft beers. There's ones that are like lemon rattlers, and there's dark ones that they have like Sunset. I don't know. They have a subscription, so I have cases and cases of. I have too much of it now, but that's what I like. I've never tried a non-alcoholic wine that I liked. None of them. Okay. So I just sort of like quit on the wine. I do like, in the beginning, I liked the non-alcoholic champagnes, but I lost the flavor for that too. Like I don't even want it. I'm just a NA beer girl. I even like the Heineken Zero.
I never had champagne and NA. Is it close to the flavor, or it's totally different?
I think so. I just didn't. I don't remember. It's been a while. I really stuck with the NA beers now, just because that's what I really liked, and it makes me. I think I don't even need to trick my brain that I'm drinking, because now my brain is like, don't put alcohol in me. It's like it knows it doesn't want it, and just like you were saying, like I'll never go back to drinking just because 2 drinks is like, what's the point? I know myself in that. Like it's. I don't even need to trick it anymore, but it was not bad. I forgot what the company was. There's some out there, but it was, I think what it is for me is the ritual of making the drink. And I liked pouring the bubbly and mixing with the orange juice. So at a brunch, for somebody who's trying to like cut back or trying to not drink, like it does do something to the brain. Oh, actually I read that the dopamine is released as soon as you pour the drink, it's already released. So you don't even have to drink it. So if you're drinking something that's not real alcohol, like your brain somehow doesn't know it. And then you're already getting the dopamine release when you pour. It's the ritual of it. So it doesn't need to be the alcohol.
Yeah, actually, now that I've been in alcohol for a year and a half, and I barely drink NAs anymore. I did use them more at the beginning, like the Coronas NA and the Heineken, because those were the ones that I will find. I did try the one you said, the craft beers, and those are good because they really have that bitter beer taste, and it doesn't taste like a malt kind of thing. That those really are true to the taste. But now I really don't need it. And I think it's when you realize, listen, I don't need that. You know, you have to have some time under your belt, I guess, for your body to realize, okay, I don't really need it. So you start really, like, the further you are from that last drink, the less you need it. And I think it becomes something like your new normal, right? It's your new normal. You go to the beach. I will always think about, oh my God, going to the beach and not having a drink. That was the thing. Or, you know, you're in Florida, you're in Miami, I'm in Orlando. So, you know, we are in the sunshine state. So here the sun is always out. And one of the things that I really, you know, use alcohol for was that, to have fun at the beach and to be at the pool with it. But if you think about it, sometimes even going inside the the ocean with a drink, which it was a struggle because our beaches here are not like calm and the paradise. They're really a little bit, rough. And still, I was there with my cup, with my
Mhm.
jetty right there, being proud because
Yeah.
it was more important for me to have that in my hand than to actually soak in the fact that I'm in nature, that I have the sun, having all that vitamin D, that I have great friends, that you can have great snacks or have something to eat. Everything became like a second thing, and alcohol was my priority for that. So I wanted to ask you, making the shift to an alcohol-free life often come, with a set of challenges. What were some of the biggest struggles you faced? Like you were saying, your first day, but what helped you really, really keep like staying sober, not going back?
Yeah. I love that within the Reframe app, there are
Mhm.
meetings, and logging on to those meetings and listening to other people's stories affected me so much that actually there was one share about a woman who was a mom, and she was telling a story about how she got pulled over for a DUI. Actually, she just did a speaker share, and I found out that they came into her house, like she had already made it home, and they came and knocked and arrested her once she already made it home. But that's hearing other people's stories and their struggles made me realize how close I could have been to getting DUIs. Like, even if you go out and you drink two or three
Mm-hmm.
glasses of wine at dinner, I didn't feel drunk ever, like getting into the car. But
Yeah.
maybe if I would have, taken a breathalyzer, that was a possibility that I was risking. So, um, listening to the other stories and joining in the meetings and listening to the coaches were a huge support. Like, community, now they say the community is the opposite of addiction. And I
Mm-hmm.
really find that to be so true. You happened to be part of the 75 Hard Challenge when we were doing that, through
Yes.
the Marco Polo, and having a
Mm-hmm.
whole group of women who all wanted to improve our not only just our health, but like our mental strength. And that challenge, also just being part of a group, and part of a group of everybody who had similar goals. It's so important. That just gave me so much strength. And then when you see other people becoming stronger and being part of it, it's like, oh wow, like look at them, look at their strength, like how much better can I get? I always just want to improve myself. And so that, like, how good can I get? There was a coach on Reframe who is no longer there, but he said, how are you better today than you were yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's also in Atomic Habits and some other books that I read, where like, can I be 1% better today than I was yesterday? And so that just like kept me going. If I can,
Yeah.
if I can exercise more tomorrow, can I meditate longer? Can I do more yoga, which I've been doing, and that's also a huge benefit. Just moving my body and getting all the chemicals straight. And I just wanted to go back and mention one thing when you were talking about the health risks. I had been on the ADHD medicine for some time and heavily drinking simultaneously. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really, like, I thought, well, if the doctor prescribes it, like, it's safe. It didn't occur to me the dangers I was putting myself in. And my husband had mentioned once, like, you're on this medicine and you're also drinking, and that's probably not good for you. Like, why don't you just ask your doctor? And so when I asked the doctor, she said, if you drink more than 3 drinks a week, your chances for a stroke are 30% higher.
Oh
That,
my God.
yeah. And I was like, how did nobody ever tell me this? How did the doctor never say, hey, by the way, how much do you drink? They never, maybe on the first intake form, maybe I wrote like, I drank, but it didn't ask exactly. And who's going to really be honest on that paper? Like, I don't know. I never had,
Yeah.
so who knew? But that was also a huge thing that was like, and even when I found out that, instead of quitting drinking, I quit the medicine. I was like, well, I'm not going to quit drinking, so let me just quit the medicine. But just to tie it back to what you were saying, it was just like what kept me, the science that I learned on Reframe, and knowing that ethanol is like rocket fuel, and it's the same thing, and that alcohol
Mm-hmm.
in the drinks are gas, like we're drinking gasoline. That
Yeah.
was a very easy thing to keep in mind. Like, why would I put a substance in my body that is messing with my nerves, with my inflammatory system, with everything, with my mood, with my, depression? Like, it was just the science. That's what I love about Reframe. Like, I'm a huge advocate for Reframe just because of the science that they provide, and they put it in a way that's so easy to understand. Like, I've read health magazines and books and stuff I'm very into health, but nobody ever pointed it out about alcohol. And that was on purpose. Like, now I'm learning more. Like, the industry specifically keeps a lot of that information hidden.
Yes, they're very powerful. And for those of you that don't know about Reframe, the app that she's talking about, the speaker share is actually every Friday. They have a speaker share. It's actually at 9 p.m. Eastern time. And what they do is they take a person that is on the path of being alcohol free, and they actually share their whole stories after like what we're doing here. But they do a new one every Friday. So for those of you, I'm going to link something on the show below, just in case if you want to try it for free, you can. It's not a sponsor or anything like that. It's just something that they gave us to share. And just in case if you want to try, I think they give you like a week that you can. That's how I actually got it into Reframe. They gave me, they had a week, and then after seeing all the neuroscience and the science behind everything, it's impossible not to really at least think about it, right? Because like you were saying, you will rather stop the medicine that is to help you with something else that just to stop drinking. Those are the things that people don't see, like how far you really go to keep consuming the substance. And I think awareness is one of the things that we need to bring more to the light, because sometimes I always say this, you don't have to have a rock bottom to want to be better, to have a better version of yourself. So if anybody wants to try, because Reframe community, that community really has helped a lot of us. Look how we're here. That's how we met. And you mentioned something about 75 hard. Yes, I remember. So after Reframe, an extension of Reframe doesn't have to do nothing with Reframe, but it's Marco Polo. So for those of you that doesn't know what Marco Polo is, it's like a Snapchat, but for adults. That's how I kind of see it. It's a video conference thing that you can do, and then you get like these groups. And then we created this one that it was for 75 hard. A lot of people have shared that one of the things that will keep them away from doing 75 hard is the fact that you cannot drink for those 75 days. People really struggle with that. And then you have to read 10 pages. You have to have a gallon of water every day. Then you have to do 2 45 minutes workout, but one of them has to be outdoors and the other one however you want. And then you also had to do a nutrition plan that you will not break. You choose whatever it is that you want, but that's pretty, it's hard. That's why it's called 75 hard.
It's intense. Yeah,
it's intense. That's the right word.
I did
intense.
Hard-ish, to be clear.
Yeah, I remember you called it hard-ish.
It's hard. I can't drink a gallon of water, and I couldn't do that. And actually, one of the girls in that group, I remember, it actually made her really sick. So I'm not a huge, I don't think it was built for women. We happen to use it for our health, but I don't think that it was intentional for women. But sorry,
it's hardcore. It's okay.
Hardcore.
It's hardcore. And actually, I remember I was at 25 days, and I don't know what happened. One of them, I even worked out sick. I don't know if you remember. I worked out twice, and I felt like crap, and I still did it. But then something else happened along the lines, and I was at 25 days. Guys, I started the whole thing again because I tend to be like that. Like if I have to follow like a direction, I'm really black and white. So there's no gray, even though I was a gray area drinker. But yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think that's a little hardcore. You don't have to do all of that stuff. It just helps some people to stay committed to something. But there's easier things. You don't have to commit to that. So Nirvana, another thing is, so as you continue on this path, what will be some of the most significant positive changes or, benefits that you actually have experienced in your life, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or even social? I know you mentioned yoga as one of the things and moving that's being beneficial for you. What else?
Yeah, so also as a mom, I'm so much more present for my kids, and parenting, it has trickled down to them. Like they are so much more present with me and I'm more present with them. Because and I'm remembering more. It's like I'm on top of my stuff. Like before it was just everything. I mean, and on top of it, I do struggle with ADD. So that is a problem sometimes with like
Mhm.
schedules and things, but I'm doing it. Like I realize that drinking alongside my ADHD medicine made it not work. So I was just like really extra messy. And now I'm getting the things done. I'm there for them. I'm remembering what I need to do. Even when it comes to like planning, I mean, everything like there's a lot that goes along with motherhood that I know you understand. It's like the
Yeah.
groceries, the dinners, the snacks. It's just like a lot. And I'm doing it with joy. It's not like a chore anymore. Like I used to complain about it all. And I found gratitude in that. I found gratitude in all the work, even in the clean. I mean, I'm trying to find gratitude in cleaning because I'm like, I'm lucky to be in this house. It's like it's great.
And you have a beautiful house.
No, thank you.
So,
It's just it's a lot of work that I used to drink to clean. I used to take my ADHD medicine and abuse it to be able to like clean this house or just wherever it is, just to be on top of my stuff. And now it's like, oh no, you know what? I have the natural capabilities. I mean, it takes routine, which I was able to do
mhm.
with the yoga, but it's teaching myself routine and gratitude, which I'm not even saying I didn't have. I had it before. I just wasn't as present to it.
Yeah.
Like now I feel it every day.
Yeah,
And
being present is one of the biggest benefit that I have, you know, gotten in this journey because if you're present in the little things, right? And if you think about the little things is what makes the whole thing. This is your whole life. Your whole life is made of little things around, your lifetime. It's not like we don't live in just moments of wow, this happened, and then we go to, you know what I mean? It's just in the little things, and being present as a mom has been the most exciting, amazing. I mean, I could say all the positive words that the fact that I did this while my kids are little and they're like you're their favorite person. Like, they say that you are your kid's favorite person like they're 10 years old. And remember, I can relate, I can actually see the difference because I have a 19-year-old. So I know the whole teen time, like the teenagers, they're tough sometimes, and they become like their friends, their girlfriend or the boyfriend or whatever they have become their number one priority, and you become like, yes mom, I love you and everything, but just stay over there. Right now I just enjoy my kids. Like yesterday we went to church, and then we went to, and it was just the two little ones and me. Then we went to First Watch to have breakfast. And my daughter is at that point that she's been telling me, Mom, not on the phone. Let's go have a conversation. She said, let's talk.
oh,
And she's just 7 years old. I'm like, that's so cute. See, they're aware of, and I'm working on that too because I realized I do real estate. I'm always on the phone. Plus, you're checking your phone, your emails. Like I'm constantly you like being not necessarily all the time scrolling down, but more like being on my phone, having clients. And the fact that she wants to have a conversation with me, we did that. And then we went to see the movie The King of Kings. And then we went to have dinner afterwards. And we have the best of time. And she, at the end of the night, she's like, Mom, I really love this time with you. Just the three of us. And she's like, I love you so much. And she gives me the big hug and this big kiss. And that really, my heart would have popped out of my chest. I was so happy because you know what? They can feel when you're present in their lives. They know, okay, mommy's giving me 100% of her attention. And for that, that means love. Not every time you can say I love you 100 times. But the fact when you give them that undivided attention, it's like for me, I've seen from my daughter, for her, it's like that's true love. And that's amazing. That's just a gift. So we are coming to the end of our journey here in our podcast. Tell me, looking back at your journey so far, what will be the one piece of advice or a takeaway that you will offer to someone who's just starting to consider or they want to embark on their own alcohol-free lifestyle?
yeah. For me, I have just realized how much of it was habitual and finding something to just take place of that, the ritual of drinking. Like it just makes it so much easier. And then and then realizing how little we actually needed. Like I realized I didn't need it, and I didn't realize it in the time. Like it just took me, it takes, you have to get to the other side to kind of look back. But in the beginning, I think the things that helped were just finding something else to do in the meantime with like my hands, even, you know, like people that quit smoking, even some people, you know, they would hold like a fake cigarette. So it's like, hold that glass. I used to put the non-alcoholic drinks in my purse, and I brought it out to any event. Like, and I still, yesterday I went to a tournament, a beach tennis tournament with my husband, and I brought my non-alcoholic drinks and stuff, and just like bring them, have something to occupy your hands and your mind with, even if it was like maybe a puzzle for, I don't know, not a puzzle, but something you can carry around. That when that craving comes in. Another a visual that I had that I really liked that Reframe gave was like, you ride the wave. There's going to be the cravings because it's like your mind's going to tell you you need a drink right now. It's probably, you know, halt, either hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, and to like identify it, and then identify what's there, and then just sit with it. Like we have to all, I mean, even drinkers or non-drinkers, like we all need to learn to sit with ourselves. And that's, I think, just paying attention. And that's what I meant about like the emotional awareness. Like the more aware we can be with what we're feeling, what's causing the craving. It's like, it's probably not that we need a drink. It's just that something is, our little souls, our souls need something, you know, like, so looking for that. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. The whole, like, sometimes it's unbelievable. We don't know. Like, you can just be hungry and you don't even a glass of water. Like, you're just thirsty. And then you confuse that with the fact that your body's asking you, giving me water. And here you are giving it something that's going to dehydrate it more. But I think that's a great, great, great advice. So I want to say thank you so much, Nirvana, for, you know, sharing your story. That is brave of you to do so and try to help other people that are trying to, you know, get into this path. I know sometimes for people it could be scary, right, to get into this world, but I encourage you to at least try it. I would say just try, because you can have so much freedom from just doing this and actually getting to know yourself. And like you said, even if you're drinkers or non-drinkers, we all have to actually work with our emotions. That's one of the biggest things that we're facing right now. And, you know, in our lives is that we don't want to like deal with emotions unless they're happiness. Let me tell you something, life doesn't work that way. We cannot be happy 100% all the time, because then I think, believe it or not, I think you will get bored of that too. So that's really, really great advice. So thank you so much for being here. And to you guys, I just want to say thank you for listening to the podcast. If you're a person that is interested in getting a little bit more support, or you have any questions, I am here to help. You can actually send me an email. It's going to be in the show notes, and we could do like a Zoom meeting and go from there, and it's free of charge. So there's nothing to lose. And once again, Nirvana, thank you so much. You have anything else to say to our people here?
No, but I think that's great that you are doing that. And I love, you know, the more people hear about other, you know, we're other people who have just come to the other side and just realize how good it can be to just be with ourselves and sober. So I'm proud of you, and I love this podcast. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Well, guys, thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.